Hey crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion, here to help you master stitches, laugh through the tangles, and maybe even convince you that lace isn't terrifying. Today we're diving into something elegant, airy, and surprisingly beginner friendly. Hairpin lace crochet. And before you panic, no, we're not crocheting hairpins, though if you did crochet one, that'd be wildly impressive. Instead, we're learning how to make this delicate Victorian-style lace using a fancy tool called the Hairpin loom. It sounds fancy because it is, but don't worry, I'll make sure you look like a pro by the end. Okay, we're going to do a silly check-in. I want you guys to drop your lace level in the comments. 1, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. 2, I'll try, but I might scream into my yarn. That's probably me. 3, lace. I just figured out how to stop my granny squares from looking like wonky trapezoids. Just take a minute and drop one of those numbers in the comments for me, okay? Okay, so let's get to what you're going to learn today. What we're learning is we're setting up a hairpin loom, aka the stick thing that looks complicated. 2, we're creating loops without losing your mind, hopefully without losing your mind. 3, we're keeping those loops even because we're aiming for graceful, not oops. 4, removing the lace and not ending up in tangled mess. And 5, we're joining lace strips like a boss. By the end, you'll have a beautiful piece of lace that looks like it took weeks. But in reality, you'll be done before your next Netflix binge. Win-win. Netflix and a new way of doing a new stitch. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go over what we need. So I am using this wonderful, colorful yarn. It's actually called Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. I don't know if this is actually still in stock or not. I got it a long time ago. It's called the Candied. I absolutely love this. I've actually crocheted an infinity scarf with this using the hairpin, believe it or not. So I might post that a little bit later, the picture of that. Haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet or not, but you'll want some random yarn that is a nice contrast to what your work is. Your crochet hook, I'm actually going to use the 4 for this particular yarn. A darning needle, scissors, and a hairpin loom. So let's start with the hairpin loom so you'll want to, so you know what in the world you're doing. So this particular one, I actually got it from a place, now I can't remember what it was, but I recently looked to see if I could post a link or something for you guys, and it looks like they are no longer an active company. But the reason why I like this one, because as you can, I don't know if I can get this close enough so you guys can see, but there are actual notches that are grooved out, and they are very strategically and mathematically placed, and it enables me to put my this piece in without having too much complication. And if you need something that's with a specific size, you'll use your regular tape measure to measure it out to make sure you got the right measurement. For now, we're just practicing, so we're just going to put our hairpin lace together. So you'll notice on one end I have my rods that go through. So there's 2 of them. So I put them through on one side already, and then I'm going to put them through on one side, just on one side for now, because I'm going to leave this one open for just a minute because we're going to add our yarn to this. Okay, deep breath. We're going to go in for this. So to start off with, we're going to create a loop with our yarn. kind of like a slip knot, but we're going to make it nice and a little bit longer. So just like this. Okay, so we did a slip knot. We're going to make sure that we can move it back and forth a little bit because you're going to need to line it up. I know that sounds terrifying, right? All right, so this loop, I'm going to put it over this rod, and now I'm going to put this in my other part of my loom here. The other stick thing. Oh, don't mind me, I'm having complications here. This is actually my favorite loom I've used other looms before that were made with plastic. I couldn't stand them. I usually wound up having to put a rubber band on them so I could get them to stay where they were supposed to. Alright, let me make sure that I've got this straight, and I don't think I do. Am I missing a stitch? I'm missing a notch here. Let me look here. That one's in the right place. Okay, well, I guess I got it right. Okay, so now that I've got this together, we really don't need it to be too big, so I'm going to squish it up just a little bit here, and then I'm going to tighten my wing nuts here. Not too tight because I don't want it to ruin the wood. If you guys can find a loom like this again, let me know, because this is like my absolute favorite, and I wouldn't want to do it with any other loom anymore. Okay, so now that we've got everything tightened down, we've got our one strand here on our loom. What we're going to do is we need to actually, I think I started this on the wrong side. Oh, yes, I did. Let's put this through here. So it needs to be on the back side. Yeah, on the back side. So you're going to have that on your loop, just like this, and on the back side. Now, as you can see, I just put that yarn ball through so I could have it on the correct side. Now, I'm going to take this thread. See where my knot is? It's not centered. We want this to be as centered as possible. Just a little bit tighter here. Okay, I think I've got that pretty well in the center. Just a little bit more maybe. There we go. All right, so that's how we're going to start. So you want to start it on the right hand side underneath your loom, and then we're going to swing our loom around. This is the basis of the whole thing, so we actually need to swing our loom around, and I'm going to give us a little more room here, a little bit more room so we can wiggle around. I might have to zoom in a little bit more, but I've got to have a little extra room because we're going to be swinging around with our loom. All right, so let me go a little bit closer so we can see. I'm going to zoom in so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, now let's get this back to the middle. And you're going to take your hook and stick it in that underneath that first, and I use my thumb quite a bit. I'm going to put it underneath this first strand. I'm going to grab that piece of yarn, pull it up and over, and I'm going to pull my yarn to the back. Grab the yarn over my hook, and we've got our first stitch. Now from here, I'm going to take my hook and go around. Let me back up a little bit so you can see this. I'm going to take my hook and push it to the back. And we're going to turn our loom around. Grab that and get that out of the way. All right, now we're going to go a little bit closer again so you can see what I'm doing. And it's going to feel awkward until you get those first couple stitches out of the way. So now from here, we're going to grab that front yarn. So I use my thumb to pull it up, insert my hook into that front piece of yarn. We're going to yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, go through all two. So basically we're doing a single crochet. All right, so now that we got our next stitch, let me go back a little bit. So we're going to take our hook, drop it back behind, and then we're going to turn our loom. And it's, let me tell you, it's not normally this awkward, but seeing that I'm trying to do this on camera, that's probably why it feels awkward. And I don't know why, but I always have a tendency to go up with my yarn. Okay, now that we've turned our loom, let's go a little bit closer. We're going to grab that front piece of yarn with our thumb, insert our hook underneath that, yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through two. There we go. Now we've made it to our next stitch. Now this is the part where it starts getting a little bit easier. We're going to go back behind with our crochet hook, turn our loom, grab our next stitch. Gonna stick our thumb right underneath that stitch, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Now we've got our next stitch. All right, so I keep moving my thing up while I'm doing the stitch. So we're gonna move it down and grab our hook, put it back behind, turn our work, grab our next stitch right here. So I'm going to put my thumb in the very first part so I know where to put my hook. We're going to put our hook in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Oh, then we're going to just keep on going. Now I'm not as close now because I want you guys to start seeing this in real time, how we're going to be doing this. It seems like it would be complicated, right? But once you get through those first few stitches, it starts to go like a breeze, and then before you know it, you're hooked, and, well, literally, you're hooked, and away you're going. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to go closer up again so you guys can see this close up. So that next stitch, I'm going to stick my thumb right underneath, insert a hook, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through two. Go back behind, flip. Now that we're next stitch, insert our thumb, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Let's go back out so you can see that far out, since I've got a pretty big loom, it seems like. Right. And this is how it works once you get going, and it's not so bad. it just feels awkward in those. I mean, even me, I'm well versed in how to do this, but for one, it's not in my lab. And I'm on a video, but for two, even for me, it's awkward in those first few stitches until you start getting yourself right in the middle and you get kind of a rhythm going. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop and I'm going to explain how we're going to count how we're going to go. So we need about 30 strands on each side. So we're going to count each side. So I go 2, let me get a little bit closer. I go 2, 4, 6, and 8. So I have about 22 strands on this side to go, and then I'm going to count this side. So I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, so I've got 8 on each side. So I need to go until I have 30 strands on this side and 30 strands on this side. And yes, you do have to count each side because of the fact that you're going back and forth. I mean, just one rotation, you're only putting one loop on your loom. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. If you need to, go ahead and rewind and go back to the very beginning where we add the strand of yarn to the loom, and then I'm going to meet you back here at the end of round, or not round, but loop 30. Okay, so I got 30 on each side. I'm going to double check just to make sure. So I'm going to take my hook out here, just give myself just enough grace so I don't unravel my work, although it is harder to unravel your work on a loom. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count my strands on each side. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. Okay. And then as I was counting, it just reminded me of one of the things that I was thinking about when I was doing this, is that I tried to do this with not acrylic, but cotton, and it was really tough. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing cotton with this. Definitely stay more with your lacy kind of yarns. You probably could do worsted weight, maybe, but generally you want to use your lacy yarns. So okay, so now that we have 30 on each side, what I'm going to do is do like I did with this piece that I already did. What I did, so I could keep my loop straight, I used my needle and wove it in to catch all these strands before I took it off the loom. That's my way of being able to keep it straight. Now once you are more, what's the word I'm looking for, practiced with this, then you can actually take it off the loom without worrying about whether it's going to be the right thing or not, whether you're going to drop a loop here. I'm sure I've done it many times where I've missed a loop or two. That's all part of the intricate design of crochet. So, okay, so I'm going to take my loop, push them up just a little ways so I can catch that, and then I'm going to just put my needle right underneath there to make sure that I catch all the loops. Make sure I didn't get any extras in there somewhere that I didn't want. All right, keep on going. There we go. And then I'm just going to tie a knot temporarily. That way, as I take everything off the loom, as I crochet it together or whatnot, I can line up my loops before I completely lose them. So, all right, let's snip that real quick. Apparently tonight I cannot talk and work at the same time. That happens sometimes where, you know, it's actually a myth that we can multitask, but you can, especially women, because we use both sides of our brains, we can switch our focus quickly. But we can't actually, scientifically, they've proven that we can't actually multitask. But we can switch our minds to a different subject very quickly. So we're going to do a little knot here. And snip that off. And we're going to, well, whoops, forgot I needed to, gotta undo this. So I'm going to snip my yarn over here, pull this up so I don't unravel my work. There we go. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to loosen my stitch, or loosen my fly bolts here. And just because I'm lazy, I'm only going to take one end off. And we're going to take these off. I love doing that. So satisfying. So satisfying. All right, I'm going to set my loom aside, and then we're going to take our two things together, and then we're going to start working on putting our loops together. I might actually take mine out, but I'm going to show you how to do it before, because they get in my way. They get in my way, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend you doing it this way. Leave your yarn pieces in until you get used to it. I am going to snip this a little bit here. Oh, I guess I don't need to snip it, but I do need to loosen it up so I can get to my loops here. Alright, so now what we want to talk about is how we put two connecting strips together, or two strips, and get them connected together. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can actually do like a single crochet. So what I mean by that is that you're going to take one loop from each side. Let me grab the first loop here. Well, see, I'm so used to doing it without the yarn in it, so we're just going to unloop that, lay it out here flat so I can see my work. So I'm going to take my first loop, and you can actually take one loop from each side. Now, whatever way you start, you want to keep going that way, unless you want them to crisscross. But generally what I do is I keep a pattern for myself. So I'll take the first loop from the right side and the other loop from the left side first, and then I'll take my strand of yarn and just add it together, and you can do like a simple single crochet. So I'm going to go back through there and do a single crochet. So that actually puts them together. And then you're going to go to the next strand. So I'm going to grab a loop from this side and grab a loop from that side. And don't worry, I'm going to actually do this again so you can see it closer up. I just wanted to kind of give you a basic idea here. So then you just scoop it up, do your single crochet. So you can do it that way. Use it as part of your design, or maybe you want to use that as to indicate what's the front and what's the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that out because there's other ways that you can do this as well. You can actually take multiple strands, so maybe you want it to be a little less lacy, I guess, a little less airy. You can take 2 strands on one side. So at this point I'm going to actually do it a little bit closer. You can do 2 strands on one side, 2 strands on another side, and do the single crochet on top of that as well. Or basically you can do this from either side. You can do it from the top down, or you can do the top or from the bottom up. I'm going to start with the bottom up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from the bottom, let me go a little bit closer here. I'm going to take 2 strands from the other side, from the left side, two strands from the right side, 2 strands from the left side. I'm going to pull up that loop. Then I'm going to go back to the right side. I know this looks awkward. Pull that through. Then we're going to go from side to side, from pulling 2 strands up from side to side. And this is where sometimes we lose a loop or 2. And it doesn't look pretty right now, but once we get done, we're going to pull this a little bit tighter so you can see what it looks like. So we're just going to go from side to side, pulling through those strands, 2 from each side. Okay, so pulling it a little bit tighter so you can see kind of what it's doing. Let me go a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better. So we're going to continue going side to side. Pull up 2 from that side, pull up 2 from the other side, and you can do this with any number count. So maybe you want to do 3 instead of 2, or maybe you want to do 4 instead of 3, or maybe you want to do 5 or 6. You know, what you decide to do is completely up to you. There we go. Almost to the end here. Well, I guess we're not really almost to the end. I'm so absorbed in what I'm doing here that I almost forgot to look at my video, just make sure I'm still in the frame. Oh, that's not cooperating with me here. There we go. And sometimes it's good to just pull it tight to make sure you're still on course. Alright, 2 from the other side here, and pull that up and pull it through. Keep going. Now, because we did 30 and 30, you should land without any hoops missing for 2 for 2. Okay, almost there. Did I miss anything? Okay, nope. Just checking to make sure I didn't miss any loops there. Okay. I'm deep in thought and absorbed here. So that's why I'm not talking much, because I'm deeply absorbed in what I'm doing here. Oh, I must have missed one somewhere because I have 3 strands left on one side and 4 on the other side. So let's take a look, see where did I miss it? Oh, there it is right there. So I just looked on the back side and found the strand of thread there that is not attached. So we're gonna back this up a little ways, at least until we can pick up that loose piece. I thought I was missing one, but I wasn't sure. That's how you know if you're missing a loop. Okay, so let's get those straightened out. So when I go back to the other side, all my loops are in order. Okay, so we were on the left side, so we're going to grab the 2 from the right. Let's make sure that we get the right 2. Yeah, my thread kind of squirreled up a little bit, like it kind of curled up a little bit there. That's why I missed that. Okay. Grab those 2. Well, maybe. There we go. You are not going to be graceful at this, and trust me, it will come out. It just takes a minute. Just make sure that your count is right and that you come out even. All right, I think, nope, that's not it. These 2 got twisted around here. All right, almost there. Oh, that's kind of furry. Let's try that again. There we go. 2, 2, and 2, and the last 2. Okay, so there we go. Oh, I just love that. It always makes me so satisfied to see that. Okay, so how we're going to finish this, and this is where having the tail still is very handy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that tail through that last loop. So this is the tail that we started with. So I'm just going to pull that through that last loop, and this is just so you can tie it off and keep it from unraveling. Just a simple knot, that's sufficient. And then I'll snip off the end here. Probably need to do a better job at, getting this closer to the size that it was, so it's not as noticeable, but that's generally how you do it. You can also add, let's say maybe you want a little piece of fringe or something like that. You can add that little piece of fringe there, so that would work as an ending as well. So I'm going to take my little strands of yarn out. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we're going to work on the edge of the work. So unless you want to leave it as fringe, so you can do this one of 2 ways. You can create yourself a nice little edge. You can do like the single crochet like we did over here. You know, you want to kind of keep it the same level unless you have a specific design in mind. You could do like just single crochet on each edge, or say like on several of the ones that I've done, I've left the fringe on one side and then I crocheted a single crochet on the other side. So I think I might do that again. So for this side, I'm going to go ahead and do a single crochet, and then the other side I'm going to leave it as fringe. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab my yarn. Since I want it to be the single crochet, I'm just going to add it like a single crochet. I'll get a little bit closer here. Well, maybe. There we go. Alright, on to the next page. Then we're going to grab the next 2 strands, pull them up, and do a single crochet. And you're just going to keep doing that until you get all the way to the end. You're going to grab 2 strands, do a single crochet, grab 2 strands, do a single crochet. Sometimes I might even do like a single crochet with a like a chain in between. So we would do a single crochet and then a chain in between. So I might do that as well. Yeah, I kind of like that better, so I'm just going to keep going with that. I probably should go back, but this is just a practice piece, so I'm not going to. Next 2 strands, single crochet, chain, next 2 strands, single crochet, chain, next 2 strands, single crochet, and chain. Next 2 strands, single crochet, chain, next 2 strands, single crochet, and chain, next 2 strands, single crochet, and chain, and 2. Hey, my count was right this time. Yay! Alright, so then you can do like a single crochet or a chain if you want to kind of keep it more secure. Then you'll secure or finish it off. Do like that. You're going to take your strand of yarn out. So now you have a nice little edge on one side. Now I'm not going to go ahead and weave those in, but you'll want to weave those in and go to the other side. We're just going to take that out, and we're going to leave one side with fringe. That's the part that I really like. I like having a little bit of fringe. There you go. So we learned how to put our hairpin loom together. We started our hairpin lace. We crocheted 30 strands of hairpin. We took them off the looms without dropping anything, and we actually combined our hairpin lace together, our strands together, and then I showed you how to put one side together and the fringe on the other side. Isn't that exciting? But I don't know about you, but this has become a kind of an obsession for me. It looks fancy, but it's actually pretty easy. It's kind of like those effortless messy buns that took you 20 minutes to perfect. You know who you are. the one that takes 20 minutes to perfect a messy bun. Well, anyway, it's light, airy, it makes everything look elegant, it works up fast, unlike that one never-ending crochet blanket haunting your whip pile. If you loved this tutorial, hit like, subscribe, tap the bell, because you know what's coming next. A gorgeous hairpin lace project that'll make you feel like a crochet royalty. Tell me, what's the first thing you're going to make with your new hairpin lace skills? A delicate scarf, a boho shawl, a dramatic cape fit for a crochet queen. No judgment. Go big or go home. And there you have it. That's how you turn loops into lace, one stitch at a time. And until next time, happy crocheting.